It's
Good evening, everyone. To some of our panelists, we have Radhika and Deepika looking fantastic. Even it's the wee hours of the morning for them, and we have Vishal, Rajiv, and a couple from Delhi, and of course Gautam, who's moderating, who never sleeps. So I don't know whether it's good morning or good night to Gautam. We have a fantastic panel here to discuss about
Gautam, can you hear
customer
us?
acquisition, loyalty, and retention, especially in,
Right.
I wish I could say it's post-COVID era. So I'm going to say in the COVID era, right? And I think, Gautam, thank you so much for putting this fabulous panel together. For those of you in the audience, if you have any questions, please do put that in the discuss panel and keep the questions going. Gautam will monitor that and see which whose questions are relevant and make sure that he tries and gets the panelists to answer. Thank you again, Deepika and Radhika. Thank you so much for joining us from the Bay Area and Houston, respectively, and all the rest. Vishal, thank you for the discount to all the Thai audience on the biryani by the kilo. Appreciate that, and look forward to the panel.
Yeah, pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Latika, and welcome to all the panelists. I thought we would just start with a sort of a quick introduction. We can start with Radhika, and then Kapil, Vishal, Deepika, and then Rajiv. And then while you guys do your introduction, the first question, which we're going to discuss afterwards, just so the audience knows and it's prompted, which is, how have you had to pivot your business because of COVID? But let's do the introductions first, and then we can jump into that question. So Radhika, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Acharya.
So my name is Radhika Tandon, and I am the co-founder of Acharya, which is a fabulous jewelry brand, if I say so myself. My co-founder is Gauri Tandon, who's my sister-in-law, and she's based in Bombay. And we started it when we were, years ago, but it started off as a passion project, and it's now become like this amazing brand that we love so much. And we're just so excited to be here and share our insights. I'm just so excited.
Yeah. Radhika, you're being a little humble. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about your retail footprint and some of the celebrities that use your product. Just a little bit more color about Acharya for those who don't know. Yeah.
When we started Acharya initially, it was almost like a passion project. Gauri and I were just gifting each other like just jewelry that we wanted to wear. We were kind of not into wearing like the diamonds and the rubies and the emeralds, and we enjoy it during like weddings, but not like on a daily basis. So we started coming up with like, really cool costume jewelry pieces, gifting each other, gifting our friends. And then we started getting a lot of press and celebrities wearing it. So our first was like Hilary Duff, and then I think J-Lo wore it like the next year, Kim Kardashian. So we have like this roster of these like A-list celebrities wearing the jewelry. So initially it was really just like, who's going to wear it now? And so it was just like kind of we were dressing the stars. So that was really fun initially. And then we were focused on wholesale, so selling to stores. So we now are in we're selling at like Harvey Nicks and a couple of other retail locations. But now we've started to go direct to consumer, and this is what I was going to talk about a little later when you ask about COVID and how we're pivoting. Right. But currently we have our own brick and mortar stores now. We have 10 all over India. We're really focused on the India market. We love dressing like fabulous, like girls who love going to lunches and weddings and bridesmaids, and we just have so much fun being there for them. And we probably get a Bollywood, like a influencer or celebrity sighting, like literally every few days in India. So it's exciting. It's fun.
Oh, that's great. And there's a lot of Indian celebrities also that have worn your products.
Like Priyanka, Aishwarya, Deepika, like all of them, they wear it, and we're so excited to see them in it. It's really fun.
Great. Vishal, so, this is a very interesting time. You can tell us a little about your company, especially because you're in the food business.
Yeah. It's a very interesting and also difficult times. So I'll give a very brief intro about me so it puts it in the context. I am might not be the most the typical guy running a biryani business. I did my IT engineering, US MBA. I've been IT entrepreneur, successful hedge fund, private equity. What we look when we were investing in India and Asia in consumer businesses and F&B businesses, I was being a foodie. I was very not so happy to see that there is no worldwide Indian chain like a Chipotle for Mexican food or a Burger King or a Pizza Hut or anything like that. So biryani is India's heritage. And when we were looking 5 years back, given my private equity hedge fund background, the food delivery was really shooting up worldwide. We're talking about it now, but we looked at Grubhub Seamless in US, Just Eat in UK or Delivery Hero in Europe, and we said now you need content players because not all food delivery categories cater so well to delivery. Burger doesn't do that well, or wraps also, but pizza does. But biryani also is a great category, and it's a complete meal. It's very versatile. It's carbs, protein, spicy, non-spicy. And then we looked around, and there's no incumbent leader worldwide, or not only or even in India for biryani. What people were doing mom and pop shops, make it in 10, 20 kg portions, and just when the order comes, reheat, microwave, and send it. We said we create a company where we make fresh biryani for each and every individual order, only after the order comes, like a pizza is made. But the problem is pizza can be made fresh in 7, 8 minutes. Biryani dum cooking requires at least 30 minutes, that too after 6 months of back-end work. So now we have created a company which is quite successful in India, 40 outlets, 20 cities, where we make, Calcutta, Hyderabadi, Lucknowi biryani, each made an order for the best ingredients. And what you will get in a Indore or a Bhopal or a Lucknow, is the same biryani you will get in a Bombay or a Pune or Delhi. And we are ready to go international also very soon. I think so. But in COVID times, also, it has in a way helped companies like us because we have food delivery. We are big enough, like 100 crore kind of company, and nimble enough to really take it forward. And we'll talk more about it when Gautam poses more questions about COVID. And I think I gave more than the part, yeah, but I think it's doing quite
So,
well.
Vishal, a little bit about your footprint. How many outlets do you have right now? How many deliveries you're doing? Just so people can get the scale. You've built a very big business that people might just think is a small biryani shop.
No, no. So we have 40 outlets now. It's around 100 crore annual revenue run rate in 20 cities, like I said. And also, it's a primarily delivery business, 90% of it, because that's where we think we can expand the fastest. But to do the brand connect and the whole experience, we do have a policy of doing one dine-in per city. Like in Delhi, we have one dine-in, or Kanpur, we have one dine-in, or Ludhiana, we have one. So, and now, through master franchisee or joint venture routes, we should be in UAE, UK, or Singapore soon from next year onwards. Because we have been able to create in biryani for the first time, like people have done in burger or pizza, the whole tech stack, the SOPs, which might look easy from a distance, but to get the same biryani at every order without any skill set on the outlet level with SOPs and tech is not easy. Because every from rice to water to handis to the meats to spice everything, using the authentic recipes, we have broken them down into infinitesimally small steps using tech and all the processes. So now it has been done. It can be done in UK or US or anywhere in the world with the right partners.
That's great. Thanks, Vishal. And my mother loves the matki that you serve it in. She actually saves it, so the packaging is amazing. Deepika, over to you. You have a great product as well, and similar to Radhika, a lot of celebs have used it. And I think you yourself are probably the most famous, unfortunately, celebrity on this thing. So tell us about your company and introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Deepika. I'm the founder and CEO of a beauty company called Live Tinted. And my journey started on the corporate side of the beauty industry. I worked at L'Oreal, a beauty startup called Birchbox. And about 5 years ago, I filmed a video on YouTube using a red lipstick under my eyes to mask dark circles. And it went viral on YouTube and sort of created this entire new career for me of being a beauty influencer. And by no means did I ever expect that to be my life, but I basically have turned that sort of moment into a whole new platform of becoming a beauty influencer. And I did that for 3 years and grew a really strong audience, specifically South Asian audience and Indian audience, really. And it's been great. And I think since then, I've always wanted to start my own beauty company. It was just a matter of like what time made the most sense. And so after having a platform for 3 years, I launched Live Tinted in January of 2018, and we released our very first product May of 2019, and last week launched our second product. And it's been really beautiful to see everything sort of happen. And I'm kind of just going through this journey in real time right now. It's really exciting.
Yeah, maybe also share a little bit about some of the celebrities that have used your product to just give an idea of the impact that you've had.
Yeah, I mean, everyone from Serena Williams to Lily Singh to Kim Kardashian shouted us out. I mean, just this morning, it's really cool. I mean, everyone's been really supportive. Mindy Kaling's been supportive. Jessica Alba's been supportive. And on the India side, because obviously it's relevant to this conversation, it's to me my biggest goal for the brand, and I think the hugest opportunity. But I think we have a really strong momentum in the US right now. So our goal is to absolutely be in India. It's just a matter of timing. But I've been getting that support on that. And Priyanka Chopra posted us the other day. Sonam Kapoor posted us the other day. It's been great seeing the organic support just come through. And I think a large part of it has to do with the mission behind the brand, standing for diversity and inclusion and trying to create that space in the beauty industry, which I think the Indian audience has been craving.
Yeah, that's absolutely great. Yeah. Thank you, Deepika. Rajiv, over to you. It's a little early. I saw you drinking coffee. I think you'd be promoting your own product, drinking some wine. I have to say I'm slightly disappointed. But tell us a little bit about yourself.
Wasn't sure that it was allowed.
It's allowed.
Okay. So, hi, everyone. I founded Sula Vineyards 20 years ago now. It's been a pretty cool ride, pretty wild ride since then. I used to be in the US in California, came back to India, and had the crazy idea of establishing a vineyard right here in Nashik, which is where I've been sitting in lockdown since the last 5 months. I haven't left the gates of my vineyard in 5 months. I got to say that I'm luckier than a lot of people. So 20 years ago, I had the crazy idea to set up a vineyard here. I'd been tasting wines in India, in California, came back here, found that there wasn't really any good wine, at least to my taste, and found out that Nashik was a place where grapes grew. They were all table grapes. And I had the crazy idea to grow some wine grapes and make some wine. So 20 years later, we've been pioneers in many different ways. We've created a wine region here in Nashik. So Nashik, you can say, is the world's youngest premium wine region. 85% of India's wine is made here in Nashik, and there's 10 times as much wine being made here as there was 15 years ago. So that's been something that I'm really proud of. We have a lot of local villagers who work in our wineries, in our vineyards. So it's been great for the local community. It's really brought a lot of employment and wealth to the rural community here in Western Maharashtra. I'm very proud of that. And I'm proud of the fact that I think I've been instrumental in getting a lot of Indians to start drinking wine. And anecdotally, today, if you go to a party in Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Calcutta, though, if you have good wine being served, it's much more likely that the wine's going to run out first. 10 years ago, you didn't have good wine being served, and it was always the whiskey that ran out first. So things have really changed. Happy to say that we've been in the forefront of that. Keep doing pioneering things. Most recently launched India's first wine in a can, Via, which I've sent an image of it across. So continuously reinventing, and we are now a 1 million winery, the first in Asia outside China, and I hope we can go from here to more strength.
Yeah, no, it's amazing what you've built, and I encourage everyone to visit your vineyard in Nashik, and it's just really fantastic. And just to add a little color, I think you've actually changed all weddings. I mean, I remember 10 years ago, you go to a wedding, you would never see wine served. Now it's just very standard, and 99% of the time it's Sula being served. So really,
yeah, and everyone wants to know what's the wine you're serving, and if it's good, it goes down first. So that's a big change. Earlier, there were only 2 wines on the menus when I got going: white wine and red wine.
That's right. That's right. So thanks, Rajiv, for that. Kapil, you are sort of, I would say, almost one of the godfathers of the hospitality business. With your previous stint at Oberoi, I mean, it's incredible what you did, and I think Oberoi was one of the sort of pioneers to really adopt technology with their reservation systems and things like that. And then you moved on. Most recently, you're doing this hotel chain postcard, and also your thing where you're here to talk about today, which is Easy Diner. So just maybe a little introduction about yourself and an Easy Diner for those of us who are not familiar.
Okay, so thanks. It's great to be on the panel. I see a lot of friends. Rajiv and I talk, quite often, and it's really interesting to see 2 people from the US and building an amazing brand. Vishal, I've had your biryani, so I exactly know the brand very, very well. And it's absolutely amazing about what you said. So my journey was, basically been a corporate guy. I used to be the president for Oberoi Hotels for the last 5 years, really. We won the best hotel brand in the world twice during that tenure. And then we just had fun doing hotels, but thought when I was coming out of hotels that, the entire system of holidaying was broken. And pretty much Easy Diner also started when I was at Oberoi. I remember we used to run something like 80 restaurants across India. And we never had a fix on how we are going to do in a restaurant because there was no concept of advanced reservations in India. So every day was like, it was like, if I may just make a comparison, I'd say it was like the farmer in India who was waiting for the rains, whether it's going to rain and the crop will do well or not do well. And from my point of view, it was the best hotel company in the world. If this is the way we run food and beverage, that we don't know how today is going to shape up and we're just waiting for walk-ins to come in and fill up our hotels, then something was really broken. And that's how the idea of Easy Diner started. So started when I was still there. I did not have an executive role at that time because I was out of the company. But pretty much I put in a team of people together who would actually take this vision forward. And then 4 years later, it was too much for me to sit and watch the game from outside. And I came full-time on board for Easy Diner. Today, we are India's largest eating out app, really, pretty much. If you really look at your ex-company, Gautam, where it was Google, when Reserve with Google was launched, we were the second player globally after OpenTable. Who was chosen to, who they chose to pilot with. So pretty much our job is to make eating out easier for you, enable discovery, help you book within 18 seconds, and get you into the restaurants. And actually, from my perspective, I got everything that I did from this industry. So it was very important for me to actually give back in a significant way. So it's slightly in a different mode that I wanted to say that, food and beverage and running a restaurant in India is one of the biggest problems that you can have, or the worst career. Your chances of making it big in a Bollywood movie are much higher than being a successful restaurant entrepreneur. Yeah, so we thought, why don't we try and make it easy for everybody, and kind of enable people and make restaurants and consumers meet on a platform. So from our perspective, that was the real thought behind Easy Diner. The postcard hotel came from the very simple thing that I thought that luxury hospitality was broken, that hotels were becoming cookie cutter. That you could take a hotel from Delhi and place it in Goa, and you could take a hotel from Goa and place it in Delhi. All you had to do was reduce the size of the room and the size of the pool. So for me, luxury was moving to experiential, and people wanted to experience a destination. If you were in Goa, you wanted to live like how Goans do. So our whole idea was to start popularizing Goan villages, pick up historic assets in Goa and start turning them around. And I still remember when we did the menu in Goa, we trade tested 50 Goan housewives, working along with professional chefs to actually make sure that you would get an authentic Goan meal in a hotel. So in our hotels, we don't serve croissants, we don't serve smoked salmon, because neither are we in Norway and neither are we in Paris. So when we are in Norway and in Paris, you're going to get those two things. So yeah, so the whole idea was to go back to the roots on authenticity and experiential things. I love what I do. I love food. So it's great to be in F&B and it's great to be in hotels.
Thanks, Kapil. Your line about being your business and being in Bollywood movies, I think every entrepreneur here would argue the same thing. I'm sure when Rajiv first started a vineyard, it probably was easier to get a Bollywood role than start a vineyard in India. And same with Radhika, and same with Vishal, and same with
sure.
I think everyone's had their struggles, and it's really amazing. Kapil, also you I'm going to put you a little bit on the spot. You had also said you would give an offer maybe you could tell us a little about the offer you're giving to all the Prime members.
So one of the best things that we did at Easy Diner was we created a subscription program, which was basically was created for actually American Express Centurion members, and then we opened it to the public 6 months later, which was called Easy Diner Prime. What it does, it gives you a guaranteed 25% off at 2,000 of the most premium restaurants in India and in Dubai, and we're going to give away annual subscription free of charge, which generally comes with the Centurion and the Platinum American Express card to every single person who's attending the TIE program for the next 2 days.
No, that's really generous and amazing of you.
Including panelists?
Yes.
Rajiv, I think you can afford your own meal. No, but that's great. Rajiv, don't worry, you're going to be on the spot too. I want you to think of some offer also.
A bottle of wine delivered home or something like that. I'm kind of looking at that,
Yeah. So just to get to the first question, Radhika, you had some time to think about it. The panelist is about, this panel's about technology and, and about COVID. And, I wanted to think, just had the prompt question. Have you had to pivot your business because of COVID, especially talking about customer acquisition, retention, and loyalty? I'd love to hear your thoughts and what advice you can also offer to entrepreneurs in the audience. Our first technical difficulty, we can't hear. So why don't we go to Vishal?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, we can hear you now. Great. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah.
And by the way, we have about 350 people in the audience right now. I'm getting the thing. So live, 350 are in and out is about 500. So, there is an audience watching, even though it might feel like an intimate conversation with just us.
So we actually went through this in just a severe impact on our business in 2009 during the financial crisis, where we did have to pivot at that time. When we started Acharya, it was, mainly wholesale. We were on Net-a-Porter, Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus. We were focused on just making the buyers, just getting the buyers to carry the line. So that's what we were really focused on. And during the financial crisis, we just had to, wholesale stores were just not reordering. There was a lot of buyback. It was just a really just challenging time. So at that time, and I'm an attorney by training. I actually practiced intellectual property litigation for 7 years. So that my passion for branding came from that, because I was helping protect brands for Silicon Valley companies. So the idea of what do we do during that time was to pivot, basically go direct to consumer. So we really started focusing on social media. It was pretty much in its infancy at that time. So we started, just promoting the brand on that, building relationships with our customers directly, and then just seeing what do our customers want instead of what does the buyer at a store, want to carry. And that really helped build the business and really solidify what Acharya is. So we then decided to move to India versus just focus. At that time, we were focused on the U.S. market and not really on India market. And we realized we just kind of looked at who's buying our jewelry. So that's really important, who's buying. And we, most of them were South Asian, these, women who like to travel and they don't want to carry real jewelry. So that pivot ended up happening at that time to direct to consumer. And now with the pandemic, we had to shut down stores. All of our 10 stores had to shut down. We couldn't ship. Even though people were placing orders on our website, we couldn't ship. We would have to send them when the lockdown orders are lifted, we can ship. But what we decided to do was to just basically double down on this relationship with our customer. And so it's direct to consumer exponential. And so the whole idea of the experiential, how can we make it amazing? How can we get our customer what they want? How can we be available 24/7? And that's through the use of technology. So what we ended up doing was initially we pivoted right away to COVID messaging. We started, I think the initial thing, we did a blog post on what to wear during a Zoom call, how to look amazing on a Zoom call meeting, and just provide tips. And then we started offering, we had a new collection coming out, so we changed the messaging for the new collection. The new collection was called Borderless. So talking about how, we're together even though we're apart, bringing up that. We started doing virtual appointments by Zoom. From like if we were able to get to this, once we were able to get into 1 or 2 stores, we started doing virtual appointments by Zoom. We are very active on WhatsApp, and then we're also getting an AR technology on our site where people can try the jewelry on remotely. So that's on, just nurturing our current customers, and then our people, the customers who are frequent buyers who have been buying for years and years and years. We actually offer, we can take the jewelry, and if they're in a city that we can actually messenger jewelry to them, we go and let them try it on. And we also had to figure out, another thing was, how do we do it safely? That was another big thing. How do we deliver when the virus supposedly can stay on metals for a certain period of time? We had to figure out the UV light basically all the jewelry would go through UV light, and then we'd sanitize. We'd put a little sticker on it. The box has a sticker. The messenger is a little sticker saying I'm sanitized, I'm clean. And then we can, safely deliver the jewelry and get them to try it on. So I think it was just more how do we be there for our customer, and how do we keep her happy during this time? So that's been our focus.
There's I know you're making everything sound so great and rosy. There's a lot of pain. I think a lot of the entrepreneurs are tuning in because they want to have this shared pain experience. What has been the pain that you've had? Has business really gone down? And, I think people just want to hear, because everyone, you hear all these great headlines, everyone's doing well, and all these poor entrepreneurs are sitting in the audience saying, that's not what my business is down 90%. Tell us a little bit, this would be good for everyone to share. Let's use this a little bit as a therapy session. Let's share the pain a little bit.
2020 was going to be probably the best year of the brand. We're doing very, very well. Our stores are performing, and e-commerce. We've been able to successfully build the omni-channel, and then we were just again going to be investing more in that, where we have the stores. We have the website, we have personal shoppers, stylists, social media, Instagram. We just kind of lined up everything, and then we were gonna, go basically invest more to scale. So we were pretty much ready. And then I was just in India in December, and that was our meeting. Okay, we're ready. We're ready to now scale this thing. But obviously COVID happened. We had to shut down all our stores, which is very, very devastating for us. And then e-commerce not being able to ship, people were still placing orders and we couldn't ship. And even now that the lockdown, some of our stores are open, and and then also it's just the employees not being able to see everybody. We really believe in nurturing our employees. They're on the front line with our customers, and it's very, very important to make sure that they're safe and healthy and engaged. Being isolated in your home without being able to go back to the office, it's very, very tough on that side as well. So I think it's just a lot of things. Obviously, it's been tough, but we just try to stay positive, go day by day. We know we can build it back, and the numbers actually, our e-commerce is actually outperforming right now because but they know the brand, they've been in the stores, and then they know that I can get it online, or I can WhatsApp them. So we try, again, just being available. On the supply side has also been challenging, but we have been shifting to production in India. We used to do most of our production outside of India, and over the years we've been just developing more vendors and manufacturers in India, and that's helped, just having local suppliers. But it's still not on track, but we're working on it.
No, that's great to hear. Made in India is very popular and strong now, and especially
and it makes it more authentic. At the end of the day, we're an Indian brand, but at the end of the day. Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna have Vishal. Let's tell us a little bit about how your business has been affected by COVID and how you're managing it.
So I think it's a bittersweet story, but I think more sweet than bitter now in hindsight. I think we were lucky, and I think maybe I can give some credit to us, that we were forward thinking, that we were in a business which was more like D2C, online or food delivery, which was much less affected than the dine-in restaurant or a typical hospitality business. Also, being in a biryani category and the leader helps, because even in food, like I said, not all categories did so well. like a Indian thali, which was doing well in delivery earlier pre-COVID, might not be doing so well post-COVID because everyone is sitting at home and they don't really want to have a thali delivery, right? So all this helps the macro trends and the tailwinds. But I can say, like April, May, June were typically the worst months and the best months of my life. In a way, I take this experience as like everyone was in the swimming pool earlier, right? Suddenly in the COVID, you're thrown in the sea. And now you really get to see who's resilient, what everyone has really built over the years, and how real it is, how resilient it is. So we are proud of the fact that we have created a middle-level management, which I think is very, very important. So, being on the private equity side, I've seen a lot of companies. It's easy to create a 20, 30, 40 crore company, but the people start faltering. In India, the typically business I'm saying, even in US, once you reach a $10, $20 million kind of annual revenue, where we are. So a lot of the companies, when we start, see, there's a lot of fear, right, in the minds of the employees, customers, everyone. How do you really get to the job? How do you work in the kitchen where the customers can order the food? Is it safe? And are the middle management teams, be it finance or your supply chain or your purchase or your tech or your digital marketing, are they resilient enough? Can they talk to each other during COVID times when they don't have the when the physical distance is too much, you're at your home? So I think, we are really proud of what we have done. I think, like, again, I'm saying it's a good, so you're thrown into the sea for the first time, right, for a startup, like in COVID times. And I think we have come out with very flying colors, and the numbers justify what I'm saying. If we were doing 1 lakh orders a month pre-COVID, we are back to if not 90,000, 85,000 orders back. But if our competitors were doing with very few 1 lakh orders, they're back to 40,000 or 50,000 or 30,000. So I think the leaders have been segregated or demarcated very clearly in this cycle. And I think that is the the top line side, but the communication really matters, be it to the employees or be it to the customers. And I think that is a big thing. We were the first one when the lockdown happened. Within a day, we were out with a video because we were prepared with all the safety measures we were taking. Sanitizing the kitchen every hour, or the delivery bags after every order, or all the outlet employees' temperatures were put on website for any customer or employee to see every morning without fail. And so many, all the UV desanitization of all that crockery, cutlery, everything, contactless delivery, the tech was ready, so everything possible. And also it helps that, like I said, in BBK Biryani by Kilo case, the biryani is dum cooked in handi, and it's sealed and it's delivered for the same order it is cooked after the order. So customer knows that this is all sealed in the handi. It has not been opened. The customer opened this. We had a tamper-proof seal on the bag which we were delivering. So no one in the delivery process, only the customer could open. But all we were able to do in the matter of 2, 3 days, 4 days, the team went together, the video was online. So all that and so many other things we were able to. So the kind of faith now I have in the team and the investors we have, so I think it has taken us, if I can say, a few years ahead in the game. And so I think it matters what you have chosen in the last 5 years, how you have built your team, kind of communication you do with your employees and customers. I think this times will really differentiate between the winners and losers in a big way, if I can say.
It sounds like in some ways it made you even more efficient. Forced you. I definitely saw those videos. It was pretty interesting. There's a question from the audience. Want to make sure the audience has questions about you. They said, I know the answer, but I'm letting you say, do you use robots to prepare your biryani?
Not as yet. But what we have done from day one is, we have 40 outlets, and we'll have a few hundred outlets in the next few years all over the world. See, what we have done is we've automated the process in a way that we don't need skilled labor. We can do it in New York or San Francisco or anywhere in the world. But right now the robotic, but it's so dumb now. We made it into, although the recipes are authentic, everything is the best ingredients, but the steps now can be done by a robot. It's ready. and we are in the process. In a year or so, I think cloud kitchens is a big thing. But I think people miss when they say cloud kitchens, the hardware part, the robotic part. It is also the how you really put through the processes. But the small answer is the robotic arm not there, but almost close to robotic arm. The person who's doing is doing like a robot with a passion. But the robotic arm will be there soon in a year or so. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Deepika, obviously same question to you, but I'm also going to throw in the audience question that came for you, so you can weave it into your answer. It says, question for Deepika, big fan. I want to know what's happening in the beauty industry today. Do you see it's changing post-pandemic? So you can also answer that question as you talk a little bit about COVID and how you've been managing your customers and how it's affected your business.
Also, I have to say it's 6:50 a.m. in Houston, and I'm craving biryani and wine right now after this conversation. So for us, I mean, I feel really fortunate because we intentionally are a direct-to-consumer business, and our whole business model is around the idea of community. After being in this space for a decade, I didn't want to rely on retailers. Similar to what Radhika said, I wanted to listen to our customers, and I also wanted to listen to my own experiences. I think the whole reason we have a marketplace right now is the fact that it wasn't about what a retailer told us. It was about what we knew, and we were listening to our audience. Our audience told us they wanted a solution for hyperpigmentation, so we created it. And I think because we aren't in retailers, the biggest issue we've been having during the pandemic is more of a supply issue rather than a demand issue, which I feel really fortunate to say. I did Good Morning America, which is national television TV show here, in March, and we sold out of our products. And so we didn't really have the supply to continue the sales going, and our manufacturer is based in New York City, and everything shut down in New York. So we're kind of at a standstill. So what do you do as a business? And honestly, of course we panicked. I think we all panicked in the beginning, but like Vishal said, at the end of the day, you have to kind of focus on what you can control, because we can't control that aspect of the company, of the world. And so in hindsight, similarly to Vishal, it's actually been really great because it's forced us to focus on parts of the business that we were just going. I mean, we were seeing hyper growth happen for our business. It's forced me to slow down. My life was a lot of traveling, a lot of events, and a lot of that stuff, but it's given us that time that I myself have just been going to really look at the details of the business down to the margins. What manufacturers can we pivot to, and are we at the one that makes the most sense for us? And I think these are all things that I do not think we would have taken the time to focus on if things weren't a little slower in the world. And so I think we just choose to focus on the fact that, like, okay, it is what it is. Everyone's experiencing it. So what can we do as a business to really capitalize on what our strength is, which is our community? So we've kind of created different levers to really focus in on that community, really ask them what it is that they want, how are they doing? And to be honest, it's not that different from what we were doing before, because we were a community-based brand. And I think a lot of people say they want to build a community, but I think when you do it in an organic way since the beginning of the roots of your business, it doesn't feel performative. And to the question that you just asked me, what is her name? That's the question. What was her name? Smriti. Hi, Smriti. Thank you for joining. Where I think is happening in the beauty industry right now is a massive sort of realization that you have to care about diversity and inclusion, which is what our whole brand stands for. And I, again, feel really fortunate to have made that a pillar and a focus of our business since the beginning. Community-focused brands are a really big focus. And I think at the end of the day, you have to scale at a certain point in your business, right, and go into a retailer. But for me, as long as I can stay direct to consumer and sort of own that relationship with the customer and make it so it's like there's no dependency on a retailer or an external source, I'm going to ride that wave as long as I can, because it also allows us to have data about the consumer that no longer is in the control of a third party. And so a necessary awakening of diversity is happening now. And I hope that same sort of, and I'm seeing it happen in India slowly but surely, and hopefully our brand can help one day.
Yeah. Just going to throw a little question out there, which is, during pandemic, everyone's sitting at home. Sure, I want biryani delivered. Of course, I want to drink a glass of wine. But, luxuries like, do I really need jewelry? Do I really need lipstick anymore? I'm just sitting at home, not seeing anyone. One would argue that this might even change the beauty industry completely, where now we're going to enter a new era. we're not dressing up as much because we're at home. What are your thoughts on that?
It's interesting because the industry, I've always said in all my investor pitches, it's recession proof. But the question was it Corona proof? Because it's a different conversation. And what I do see happening, at least in the beauty industry, is a shift from heavy makeup into more skincare products, which is something that we've always had in our business model, that we were going to do makeup and skincare and be a hybrid. So you just have to shift and pivot. Our second product we just launched was like a lip balm, which is more of an everyday staple. But again, I think the beauty industry is going to be just fine. I'm not concerned. People always want to feel good. And even during these times where people are sad, a beautiful lip color makes people feel good. And it just is, I think companies have to shift their product development strategy a little bit to the current times, but the industry as a whole, I'm not concerned.
I see Radhika nodding her head when we said the lip balm makes look good. The men are just a little bit confused, to be honest. We're not really sure about this, but
like you said, I'm wearing I'm on a Zoom call. We're talking to amazing people here, and I want to look good, so of course I'm wearing jewelry. I think in our case, we're having small parties. We're having more intimate gatherings, and we've been hosting. In the Bay Area, we've been hosting socially distant parties in our backyard with just 2 couples, but the girls who end up coming over, they're dressed really nicely because they do want to dress up and they want to go out. We're also working with, in India, we're working with wedding planners because people are still getting married. Women are still getting married. They still need to give, bridesmaids gifts, and, they still need to dress up. So they're having small, intimate weddings. I think it's just the getting to know our customer even more I'm excited about that. I think we're very, very excited about just being part of their, intimate events and then creating jewelry for them. So, so I do see it. It's a little bit of a shift. And then also, the online experience, really focusing on, what more can we do online, and use all the different channels, whether it's social media, bringing in AR technology to virtually try on. I think they still want to wear it. We're from India. Our brand was built on, centuries of, what the royals wore, right? So we can't take that out of us. We love real jewelry. We love diamonds. We love looking good. So I don't see how it'll just all of a sudden be we're just not going to dress up anymore. So I still feel that there's a market, and it's just, we're just having a little bit of a blip right now. Well, then we're working on shifting to this new world.
So Rajiv, as we talk, these parties are getting smaller, and we're having less gatherings. But this is also a time where I think people, at least I can speak for myself, are drinking more at home alone, or with my father or my brother or whatever, my family. How has this COVID affected your business? Are you drinking every day now, or what's going on?
Hey, I always drink a glass of red wine every single day, and so should all of you.
Me too.
Sitting in one of couples' hotels wearing a nice earring, and some lip gloss. It's good for life. So we were hit very badly for 2.5 months. No alcohol sales, right? Alcohol sales just shut down in the country, which I'm not sure that was the right decision, but that was our government's decision. So that really hit us hard. And we had to scramble to protect our business at that time, draw down all our lines of credit, bank everything, and just get through it. Try to get through it without letting people go. Everyone had to settle for those couple of months with maybe a little bit less pay, but we're back in business and roaring back. Really happy to say that, yes, people are drinking at home and having a good glass of wine, probably spending a little bit more on that bottle than they would if they went to the restaurant, where they have to spend typically 3 times. They have to pay 3 times the amount for the same bottle. So they're sitting at home and they're drinking well. And I must say, I think it looks like wine is benefiting. I really don't know how the spirits guys are doing, but I just feel like, if you're sitting at home, it's nice to open a craft beer or a good bottle of wine, rather than downing necessarily a vodka soda, which is what you're more likely to do if you go out to, a club or something, a late night spot, especially for a lot of of our younger clientele. So we're bouncing back strong, and our sales in the retail channels, the growth in that is making up for our total loss of sales in the institutional channel.
Yeah.
That is a disaster, and that's really a tragedy for all our all the small businesses out there, the restaurants, the cafes.
Yeah, well, a couple will fill us in on that. He's an expert. But one question,
Yeah.
Rajiv, you're on this panel, and a lot of people must be thinking, like, what is Rajiv, doing on a tech panel? And I think, difference between like what Radhika, Vishal, and Deepika is that, what is your relationship with the customer? Are you using technology to create, a relationship with your customer, because you don't do direct consumer selling? And I know you use SulaFest very effectively on social media and built an amazing brand with that festival. So maybe we can talk about a little bit how you're using technology for customer acquisition, retention, loyalty. And I know when we talked earlier, you had actually mentioned that, hey, you decided not to use it in some cases. I think people would love to know why you also did not like to, not use it.
So our entire marketing effort pretty much is online. It's really fraught legally and from a regulatory perspective to try to do offline marketing of alcohol. Real life marketing of alcohol in India. So our entire marketing effort really is online, using all your usual platforms, your Facebook, your Insta, Google SEO, etc. SulaFest, as you said, that's our big property, and we really milk it or wine it. You can say, it's on it goes out. Everybody, at least in Western India, and a lot of people down in Bangalore as well, sees SulaFest, hears about it, and we integrate that into the whole Sula life experience. At this point, we've stopped all our offline marketing. We're concentrating 100% on reaching our consumers online. And I'm sure that that's the same experience as pretty much everybody else here on this panel.
Yeah. Thanks, Kapil. So, a little bit about the hospitality industry. You're sort of the expert on here, and because of COVID, it's basically shut down. And Vishal's lucky that most of his business has been delivery only. He always started it that way with a small footprint, so he's been able to thrive. He said, I've been very smart, and I think also, Vishal, you've been very lucky as well. To be honest, I don't think you planned for a pandemic. With Easy Diner, you're basically doing reservations, and this is a very challenging time for your business. How do you navigate when basically your entire customer base is gone, literally?
Okay, yeah. So when it happened, it was quite a shock. But again, I've been running a corporate company for 25 years now. Yeah. So from my perspective, I think a lot of people reacted very differently. So you always got to look at it when you're building a business. Now, Rajiv made a comment. He's been doing Sula for 22 years now. What's 6 months, 9 months in the lifetime of a business? If you're building a business, you've got to always, as an entrepreneur, always look at the whole scale of the game. Yeah, so if you're building to flip it, and of course you've finished pretty much. But if you're building to run it, and if you're building to operate it, and you're really passionate about what you're building, then what's 6 months? So what you need to do is manage your expenses, make sure you don't go underground, make sure your cash flow situation is right, and that's what you need to do. Then you need to come back and say, okay, if the pandemic is also an opportunity, how can you be more efficient? Look at efficiencies, because in any business, no matter how tight you run it, there will always be things you want to do, your projects and things you say, maybe we should be doing this also. So all those kind of fluff around the ball actually starts disappearing. You start focusing on the core business again. Then you got to look at it, what you built. I'll give an example. So we've also now launched delivery and takeaway on Easy Diner. We don't do it. Yeah. But for example, if Vishal wanted to do his delivery with Swiggy or Zomato, they would take their 15% to 25% commission. But what if a strong brand like Biryani by Kilo, and Biryani by Kilo is a strong brand, why? Because people order from him specifically. So one way he's doing it is he's reaching the customer directly because he's got his own fleet. The second way is comes to Easy Diner and says, but the top tier of the customer in India, whether it's American Express, Citibank, IndusInd, or any bank, or whether it's Google or TripAdvisor, is only with you. Why are they only with you? Why are they not with the other aggregators who are doing 18 to 20% commission? Can you enable discovery for me at 5%? And the whole idea was for us in these 3 months to sit down and actually build a delivery takeaway business where we could now empower restaurants at 5% commission, because that's the cost of discovery. And the other part is when a consumer comes to an aggregator and orders a biryani, he doesn't say, buddy, get me biryani from anywhere, any shop that you get, just get it to me. He's coming to Biryani by Kilo or Biryani Blues or anybody and ordering a biryani from that specific brand. But none of the aggregators were sharing customer details with them. So they were reduced to being commodity producers. I'm a pizza maker, I'm a biryani maker, I'm a whatever maker, yeah? So at Easy Diner, we said the first thing is the customers coming to you, we'll give you all the data, and we're going to do it at 5%. And now, you know what we'll do, because we control the premium end of the market, we will get the bank alliances. So let me just tell you two big alliances on this call. Let's look at American Express. American Express is saying for Centurion and Platinum members, they will give up to $700 on a Centurion card and $300, which is 20,000 rupees, on a Platinum card, 100% cashback. All you need to do is order it on Easy Diner and pay by an American Express card. And we will give you 100% cashback on your card. We've enabled it. So we've enabled discovery for restaurants. We've enabled the spending power. So why is American Express doing it? American Express is doing it because one of their key verticals to delight customers was travel. That vertical's gone. You're not in an airline lounge anymore. You're not going to the Centurion lounge anymore. And you're still paying your fees. So American Express is saying, this is one way we can pay it back. Okay, and support our dining bills also. Second, let's talk about Citibank. We went to Citibank and we said, what is this 100, 250 rupees thing that you guys keep on giving off on every order? Let's move it up. Let's move up the game. So now Citibank is saying, if your bill is over 1,500 rupees, so that's kind of 2 biryanis. I'm talking about biryani because Vishal's on the show. Okay, that's 2 biryanis. You order 2 biryanis by Biryani by Kilo on Easy Diner. He will deliver it. So it's more hygienic because he will take more protocols than an aggregator. So our thing is the restaurant needs to deliver it. It's hygienic, it's sealed, it's tamper-proof. He'll deliver it and we'll give you 500 rupees off. Citibank will give you 500 rupees off. Why Citibank doing that? Same reason. They all took in membership money. They need to do that. So what are we doing? We're enabling discovery. So Gautam, so we were very happy. Actually, we were kind of struggling when the government opened the restaurants because we kind of built Swiggy and Zomato, what they built in 7 years in 3 months, on top of our core business, which is still eating up. But we kind of enabled a marketplace model where I don't do the delivery, the restaurant does the delivery, but it does it at 75% lower commission, and the restaurant owns the customer, not only me. So that's what we kind of did for Easy Diner. And like I said, I thought, after quitting a job like the Oberoi, which was a great job actually, I'm in this for the long term. So how does it matter really? And I'm very happy that all my well-funded competitors are also in the soup. So like somebody said earlier on the call, earlier on everybody was swimming in the lake. Now, I think Vishal only said it. We're now swimming in the sea. But I was always swimming in the sea. I never had the safety of a lake and not drowning. So I was already swimming in the sea. So I've just got a head start. That's the way that I look at it.
Well, you've always been a big thinker. You always think about the big picture. Is one of the things I really admire about you. We have a little bit of time left, so I want to go backwards and ask. Question is maybe I'd love to get everyone's prediction on what will this be the new normal? You said 6 months. I don't know. Maybe some people are saying it could be years. Some people, everyone sort of doesn't know. We're operating in the dark. What do you think? What do you think is going to be? Is it going to be a new normal? What do you think the future is going to be on this industry? And what are you planning? Are you planning only for 6 months?
You're asking me, Gautam?
Yeah, I'm asking. I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to go with you and then Rajiv.
So I think no. I think the things are already changing in a very big way. We operate in India and in Dubai, and Dubai has also had around 400 cases of COVID every single day. If I give you a very interesting stat, it's not happened in India. In India, our business is significantly down, but in Dubai, we are already over pre-COVID levels. I don't know how, but we are, and we are kind of 20% over pre-COVID levels in Dubai. Although we are a much smaller operation in Dubai, so it's very difficult to compare and say that the restaurant industry in Dubai is recovered. No, it has not. But from our perspective as an aggregator, and we aggregate 800 of the top restaurants in Dubai, we are 20% over January and February.
So when do you think we'll get back to India? When will India get back to those levels, you think?
So I think in India, what's really happened is, Gautam, a lot of places are already getting back to normal. But the urban elite in India is scared. Okay, he's scared. Okay, and I think
we have a Rajiv sitting in his vineyard. He's not even leaving.
Yeah, he's not leaving
I haven't left in 5 months.
Yeah, so that's
that's he's scared.
But we're not allowed to leave. We're not allowed to go in.
So I think that thing is scared. But I'll give you another business example here, and let's look at the Postcard Hotel. Means right now in July, I was empty, and we kind of opened on the 2nd of July, and we thought it was our demonetization Paytm moment, yeah, where everybody wanted to stay in small hotels, and we were empty, Gautam. We hardly sold anything. But in August now, as I sit in August, and nothing's changed between July and August. To go to Goa, you need a negative RT-PCR test. That means you need to get tested for COVID, last 48 hours, then board a flight. Imagine taking your kids to a COVID center, getting them tested and saying, okay, now we all can go for a holiday. Yeah, in spite of all those things, there are hardly any rooms available in August in Goa. Hardly. I have nothing available. I have 4 rooms available as I speak to you. Only 4. Yeah, and we are expensive. Our card is kind of double the price of a Taj or a Hyatt or any other brand. And in spite of that, there are only 4 rooms that we have available to sell. So in July, there was nothing. So what changed in the last 15 days? India just hit a new high in terms of COVID cases. So I think it's going to be the new normal. I think there are lessons to learn. But I think the world doesn't change or the business doesn't stop. It means things will go on. And they'll only get better from here. In my own opinion, I think the worst is over. That's what I
think people need to hear that little optimism because everyone is giving this doom and gloom story. So I was really happy to hear that. Rajiv, how about you? What do you think is going to be the new normal?
I think there's a big shift coming. Leaving aside leisure travel, let's take my example. I know sometimes we look at ourselves in the micro and just take a macro picture from it. But let's just look at us. We have 100 people working out of our head office pre-COVID. We have hived off 1/3 of our office, given it to our friends, Epigamia Yogurt. They're going to be renting 1/3 of it. The rest of it, we're only keeping 2/3. We're going to be working from home 3 days a week for the next few years. I mean, we've just realized that we didn't even need to come into work every day. So, April, May, we were 90% below last year, April, May. June, we were 30% below. July, we are now 3% below last year, July sales. August looks like we're going to exceed last year. We're doing all of it, working from home, on Zoom. And, we are managing it well. There's a few differences. As, people have said, you have to message. The CEO needs to be out there always sending, on a weekly basis is what I do. Say, hey guys, here's what's going on. Google Hangout going on, et cetera, et cetera. But we've just realized, why should my guys be taking those horrible Mumbai public transport, those trains, local trains, to and from work every day, 2 hours each way, setting themselves up for all sorts of, horrible things that can happen. We don't need to do it. Now, we have to balance it out. There's a lot of people who, when they're working from home, it's not easy. Look, some of us, we have bigger homes. Some people have smaller homes. They have children crawling on top of them while they're trying to find a corner somewhere to work. So there is a balance. We're going to have to work it out. I, for one, we are sure we are not going back to life as normal before that. And I think we're going to be cutting our travel by at least 50% compared to what we were doing before, except a lot of that is going to be for leisure holidays because we're going to go stir crazy. So we're going to go visit the postcard.
Going to go to Couples Place.
But I'm not going to go to any trade fairs anymore. I don't think we need trade fairs. I was just looking at it and looking at the number of trade fairs I used to go to say, for what? How much business came out of this? Hardly anything. How much, especially when you have an established business. I think it's different for a startup. Let's say you still need to go to new countries. Very different. You need distribution. But when you're a strong incumbent and you've already built something, I have a feeling that you could really slash all of that. So I see a big change coming.
No, thank you. Deepika, same question to you. What do you think is going to be the new normal?
Yeah, I mean, I have the same sort of positive lens on all of this. Is it's really forced us to think about what business expenses we need versus want. Like, I'm not convinced the office expense is necessary. We're functioning fully off of Zoom and saving overhead costs. And it's also making me realize that, why was I flying to New York? All this, all these things that we did. And so, of course, COVID and the pandemic is so sad in so many ways. But again, on the positive side of this, it is creating a new normal, but I don't think we have to look at it as such a negative lens. There's so many positive things that's forcing even just human beings. I know this is a professional conversation, but I think on the personal end, it's forcing us all to really think about, I think everyone on this chat is a workaholic, and it's making us all step back a little bit and think about our families and things outside of our professional careers. And so on that lens, I'm sort of grateful for this time that we're having.
Thank you for reminding everyone. Rajiv also, he's just, congratulations on, he's a recently newborn.
I totally agree. I was just telling my wife that this morning. I was saying, wow, what an amazing time we've had.
Yeah.
5 months together every single evening, family.
When's the last time you were there every single evening,
Never happened before.
Yeah.
Never.
So we have a minute left. I'm sorry, Vishal and Radhika, you guys have 30 seconds each. I'm sorry, Radhika, and Vishal, maybe go next and tell us, like, a little bit about the new normal and then.
So I think, I agree with most of all the panelists here. I think the one thing which comes out, which I like to say, which is possible in 30 seconds, is life is a self-fulfilling prophecy. What you believe as an entrepreneur, as a person, will happen. So what I hear from Kapil or Rajiv or Radhika or Gautam or Deepika is they're giving a positive spin to a negative situation. And that's what is needed. And the new normal will be what you believe in. So what you believe in will become your reality. So that is the most important thing I can say. And I think what we have learned, be family time or less travel, or the kind of digital marketing we have done at BBK, Biryani by Kid, or things, or whatever, as the teams coming together, the families coming together. So things have been accentuated and they have become bigger. They have been, put under a microscope. So whatever you were, if you were positive, now you're super positive. If your teams were resilient, you're super resilient. So whatever you were, it has been accentuated. So it depends who you were. So that is your new normal and a better normal.
Thanks, Vishal. Radhika, you get the last word in.
So I think just to all the entrepreneurs out there, I think it's just really, really important to remember that you are doing this you're making a promise to your customers. That's what a brand is. It's a brand. You're making that promise. And the pandemic will force you to, like, the brands who are strong, who've been doing that consistently from the beginning, are the ones that are going to succeed. The ones that are just doing it to make a quick buck, if they haven't created that connection with their customer, I don't know if they'll survive. So I'm very confident that, like all the brands on this panel will definitely do very, very well during the pandemic, and then post-pandemic will be amazing.
Well, thank you, everyone. It's such a pleasure to chat. I feel like we could have gone another hour. There were so many other questions that I had, but it's just an amazing group. And, it's the use of technology that really brought all of us together. It's kind of amazing. And I think that if this was an in-person panel, I don't think we would have all met. So this kind of also shows the positivity of that, Thai is also able to create this conference that's been very global. So everyone keep at it, and best of luck, and congratulations. And thank you so much for participating. Rushi, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Gautam. Thank you. A special thanks to actually Deepika and Radhika, who've woken up in the middle of the night to be a part of this. Thank you so much, Rajiv, Kapil and Vishal, for being a part of it. I think we go back all feeling that whoever is positive and strong and resilient is going to get past this and be a success at what they're doing. Thank you so much.